a very wonderful woman, a woman of worth, a woman of purpose, and has a great destiny. She has been educating us today about domestic abuse. Before we conclude today, and that question is: we want to talk about factors affecting women facing domestic violence. In your understanding, your experience, what are the factors that are facing domestic abuse women?
You mean factors in the sense of what makes them stay? Or
what makes them stay, in an abusive relationship?
Well, there are so many. You touched on some. I mean, for me, I think the biggest one is often what would somebody say? The cultural things that keep you there. Oh, I dare. And if you haven't got somebody you can speak to, not to just moan and groan about the man, you can't control somebody, but you can control yourself. How you feel, whether this is right for you. If you don't have somebody you can open up to and relate to, it's very difficult. So you're isolated. You've got cultural factors. If you don't control any funds, you might think, oh, I need money. We spoke earlier, though, that you don't necessarily need as much as you think you need. If you know that you have skills and talents that you can use and invest in for later. You might be worried about the children and their schooling. So there's so many things. But a lot of those are not necessarily obstacles. You do, if it's time, only you know what you're going through.
Oh, hold on a minute. She said they're not obstacles, but a woman in a home, married in a home where she's never worked before, possibility a degree holder, does not have money. You're talking about skills. What they will be saying to us right now is, if I don't even have money to start the skills or go to a school, or he's not allowing me go, then what?
I mean, yes, and that's a real point. Because there is the fear. If things have come to the point where you are so afraid to even move, to me, that's crunch point. To me, that's about taking action, is what I said. If you don't have somebody that you can talk to, or a place that you could go to as a safe refuge. So what you're wanting to do is develop this refuge, but in the meantime, what do I do? It's part of it is talking to people. It's amazing if you've got a trusted friend that you used to open up to, and you say, look, I've not said anything, but this is what I've been going through for years, and I've come to the crunch point where I can't take anymore because I'm afraid for my life. That's what we're talking about. We're not saying, oh, it's a bit difficult, oh, I can't be bothered. We're not talking about trivial things. We're talking about where you are afraid for your sanity, your life, the impact it's having on the children. When enough is enough, if you don't have somebody you can talk to, and they don't turn around and say, look, you need a refuge, this is a place, or come and stay with me, or whatever, it can be difficult. But sometimes you do just have to take up your bed and walk. Sometimes you do just have to, I said, take up your bed, go with the clothes on your back. I've got a friend, well, a relative really, living in America. She married a Nigerian. And she was living in Nigeria. The day she left, all she had was a flight ticket. She came back to the USA with the young children with nothing. A one-way ticket. Fair enough, she had family in the US who would have. But look at that distance, and if she could make that leap,
make that decision.
We're not talking about maybe having to walk a day to the next village or somewhere else, or to the next house. She went on a plane. So she had her exit strategy.
In other words, there's always a way.
There is always a way, but you do have to plan for it. You do. Usually, it helps have a confidence, but I don't mean just talking nonsense to everybody and anybody. Sometimes, if you can't trust anyone, don't tell anyone.
Just
because
plan.
A secret isn't a secret once you've shared it with somebody.
True.
Because unless you're certain the vessel you've put it in won't leak. So if you can't trust anybody, fair enough, but have your exit strategy. You have a plan. If you have to save £1 or 1 penny a day, it's a plan. You have to have a plan.
I hope you guys are listening. Have a plan. The plan might not be just 1 month. It might be a 6 month plan.
It might be longer than that.
And we're praying that within that 6 months, nothing terrible happens to you. But have a plan, because you already made the decision that is enough. I'm moving on.
And once you've made a decision, the difference in you will be noticed. Yeah?
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean the abuse might even increase, or the suspicions or whatever you're living with might get worse, because you will become a more confident you.
Yeah.
If you make a plan and you are determined to follow it through,
that's right.
The difference in you will be noticed.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
But as I said, don't stay there being a martyr. It's not martyrs are dead people, okay? Don't say being a martyr.
Yeah.
You're not allowed. So don't stay there to be a martyr to a situation. So what? Culturally, your parents or whatever, we won't talk to you if you leave. You're bringing disgrace on the family.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Well, that's.
I would bring disgrace if I stayed there and died in the relationship. So I would rather cope with that.
Being alive and bringing
disgrace on people who are not supporting me.
Yeah.
You know, those are negative upside down ways.
Yeah.
And those are some of the chains. Actually, that's a good imagery. Chains. Yeah. Those are some of the chains to break. What other people think. We can't live our lives
what people think,
just constantly trying to meet what other people need. If you're in a situation and it's not safe, okay, you're crossing the road. There's a truck coming. Are you going to stay there because somebody might think you're a chicken? No, some people would, you know.
Yeah.
The truck comes, run them over.
Yeah, and they're just gone.
Right. You know? So you have to think, if you really and truly are that concerned about what other people think, you could possibly end up being a martyr.
Yes.
And I'm not too sure what that means.
In no time. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. I can understand what Amiri just said. I was watching a movie, one of these Nigerian movies, yesterday actually, and the title of the movie say Married or in Prison. And I'm like, wow, really? One day it was 3 hours long, and I'm like, do I have time to watch 3 hours? I'm like, okay, let me just sit there and watch it. And I saw where this lady was treated as if she was not even worth a piece of paper. Wow. Supposed to be married, you know, and this man battered her, beat her, brought his mistress into the house. Oh, wow. She had to cook for the mistress. Oh, wow. She had to take care of her clothing and laundry and everything. Okay. She was just there doing other things. She would go in her bedroom and she's praying and she's asking God to change things. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Fair enough, you're asking God to change, but God is waiting for your decision. Yes. You see, this is what we get it wrong. God has given you the skills to change things already, but you just sit down there feeling hopeless. But guess what? She called her mother. The man will beat her up and he will call the mother and say, your daughter is this, your daughter is that. And the mother will call her and say, your husband has just reported me to you. If you don't do this, it is a disgrace. Then you get the child is trying to explain to the mother that my husband just finished. She has a mistress. And that, I don't want to yet. I want a change of such. And she now found herself alone. Until her younger sister came back from maybe US or something like that. And she was telling me, this younger sister told the mistress, you live in this house today. And she beat that mistress black and blue. You know? We're not advocating violence. No, we're not. I'm just trying to say how far the thing went. But the sister took action. The sister took action. She could see straight away that there was a problem. So disempowered in your own home. Your home, you know. Wow. And the mistress came and said, go and get it yourself. When the man came, heard what she had done to the mistress, the man beat her. She almost lost her life. You know, and guess who? You see, what we're trying to say here is that when you need help, it can be anybody. It might not be your sister, it might not be your pastor, it might not be your man, it might not be your best friend, it can be anyone. You know, I said, no, do you know who came to our rescue? The boy's mother.